Layoffs. Oh.
Hey, welcome to the Nobody Cares podcast, episode numero 8. I don't know the Spanish word for 8. We are numero ocho. We are the very best podcast on the internet that covers things that nobody cares about.
We are.
Discusses things that no one cares about. This week,
who are you?
I'm Casey.
I'm John.
Casey Peterson.
And I'm Mike.
We're new to this podcast
thing,
man. Like introduce yourself, high five. Make sure Alexa doesn't.
Let me high five you guys.
There we go. All right.
This week, it seems that nobody cares about digital media publishers anymore.
Ooh.
John, you have an awesome, I don't know if the awesome is the right word, but at least a very intriguing story.
Yeah. So, I don't know what it was last week when I was traveling, started a bunch of articles popped up, and actually a really interesting article in the Atlantic that had actually incorporated a couple articles that I'd read previously about the sudden, collapse. That's probably a big, too big a word, but the problems facing the digital publishing industry basically is can't make no money.
That's a problem.
And last week, 1,000 people got laid off between Verizon Media, which formerly known as Oath.
That's all the Yahoo content and AOL content, which there's a lot. There was a lot of places rolled up in that.
And, you mean all those banner ads on their sites don't produce enough money?
It's not the banner ads, man. They got really awesome targeting data because they know that you were on a shopping site earlier looking at Nikes, so they could spam you with Nikes as you're reading about your what kind of lover you are based on the types of vegetables that you.
So
I mean, really
there's been some really big layoffs. BuzzFeed laid off 10% of its workforce.
I was 15, but
whatever.
Yeah, the reporting is
a lot. A lot of people. BuzzFeed laid off a lot of people. Apparently, there's several thousand people employed.
Well, I
can't imagine why.
I almost had an eyeball fall out because I was like, I think I read, they laid off 10% or 15% or whatever, and it was 200 people, and I'm like, how many people work at BuzzFeed?
Right.
A, and B, what do they do? I mean,
what do they do at BuzzFeed? That's a great question.
So you're telling me it takes 2,000 people to run BuzzFeed?
A blog.
What?
Just a blog.
Mike, how many people does it take to run Pints, Forks, and Friends?
2 tops.
2,000 people.
That's a lot.
Like, what are they doing?
So,
I mean, no offense, but
Vox laid off 5% of its workforce. No word on how many people that is, but probably too many. Huffington Post shut down its entire opinion section, which I would think is actually 100% of the website, but apparently there's a predefined opinion section.
Wow.
So HuffPo had that kind of Forbes thing where they got people to create content for free and stuff so that they could say they were a Forbes writer.
They do. And I'm assuming they're keeping the free people around, but they laid off quite a few.
The free
people are fine, but they laid off quite a few editorial opinion columnists.
What do you read, Mike?
It's funny with the whole paywall thing and premium content switch. I've really enjoyed the app, The Athletic.
You tried to get me on that thing.
Yeah, I've tried. They discounted the hell out of it.
Man, I'm not paying.
Well, listen. Okay, I was in the same way, and there's a couple beat reporters that I really liked up here in Cleveland, and they after LeBron left, the apocalypse came into town, and everyone jumped ship from the beat writing, and they went to The Athletic. And so they teased me with this low 1 year rate, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And boy, once I joined, there's no ads. like the writers don't have any pressure to just slam stuff out there just to get it out there to meet their deadline. You know, it's more in depth, more, you know, more rich stories. And the app, no matter if I'm on my phone or if I'm on my laptop, like there's no ads. It's clean. It's pure. So
no clickbait on what color LeBron paints his toes or something.
We don't even follow him anymore.
No, he's out. He's blocked in Cleveland.
Yeah. First he says he's home. He's coming back home, and he leaves again. So whatever.
Oh, he's got a school there.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy.
Good dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, you like sports more than I do. Like all sports. I just like Duke basketball, and then I'm out. So that's pretty easy to follow if you live in, especially if you live in RTP, because people write about it. But yeah, I'm not. ESPN's always trying to get me to upgrade to ESPN Plus.
Yeah, what is that?
Why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
No, but I'll tell you what. Nobody in Ohio is going to get ESPN Plus because we don't want their agenda, man. Their agenda is
Mike gets feisty about ESPN.
Oh, man.
But think about the agenda thing. Actually, we were talking a little bit about this. And I heard a little bit about this in reference yesterday. I was listening to CNBC when I was getting ready for work, and they were talking about, the political division that we have today is awesome for the media industry. And I think that's true, because I believe that, no matter what your political thing is, if you're into it, people screaming and getting you mad helps you watch more CNN or Fox or MSNBC or whatever it is you watch, or and then powers things like Breitbart and I don't even know what's on the left, but
yeah, well, it's but I think we were discussing this morning, Mike. It's I think that people have a tolerance threshold that they get to with anger and that hype, and eventually you're so fatigued by it that you're just like, I'm done. I'm at that point. I haven't even turned on news.
I pieced out on Facebook for that reason.
Right. I'm Facebook's gone from my iPhone. I rarely engage there.
Did you make an announcement on Facebook?
I didn't make an announcement that I was leaving. I am still there. If I want to see what's going on, which I haven't wanted to do, I'll open it up on the computer and look at it. But
dude, it's like losing 10 pounds because you're like, oh, I feel better.
It feels a little bit like in retail, we talk a lot about the danger of going all in on sales, and you can think of. I can think of JCPenney's, Stage. There's a lot of even Dillard's that and on the higher end that have built their entire business around expensive stuff that's always on sale. When you go to one of those stores, there's always a sale. You don't go there to buy the $60 T-shirt for your 6-year-old. You go there to buy the $8 T-shirt that was $60.
But I got a heck of a deal on it.
Got a heck of a deal on it, but and so it feels a little bit like media has tapped into that something similar, which is like
Jamboree model.
Yeah, I've got a quick way of getting cheap people,
dopamine.
Yeah, to come to my website, to do the click in, to watch the ads, stay tuned in because there's always a scandal, there's always some drama that has to be watched about Trump or about China or about something. There's always a drama and scandal, and everything's overhyped. And at some point, like, man, I'd rather just shop at Target. So I don't have to figure out what's on sale and what's not.
Remember when breaking news was actually breaking news?
Right. It was important.
Yeah, it was like, boo, Trump tweeted. And it's not breaking news. If he tweets 20 times a day, if I want it, I can go read his tweet. Fine.
Yeah. I think the media has done something similar with getting cheap clicks. But on this topic, I think that these publishers have far overhyped themselves. I mean, Mashable was worth what, $100 million something at some point. I mean, it was worth a lot of money.
What did HuffPost sell for? Wasn't it 300?
It was a ridiculous amount of money. I
something?
mean, we're basically talking about a blog. I mean, it's a blog that has a lot of great content that grew and probably should employ a few writers, but not hundreds.
Yeah, I honestly think, and I think it dovetails with what you were just saying. The industry got out ahead of its skis.
It really got out of hand.
And then as the revenue models, I firmly believe everybody went into the world, including the investors and everyone else. Oh yeah. It's we'll monetize eyeballs. I mean, I remember people talking about it, right? And monetizing eyeballs no longer works. No. I'm sorry if this is your business model or you invested in this or this is what you want to do, but you can't, especially in a time and a place where I can actively employ measures to avoid your media and we'll do more. I mean, nothing makes me happier than a integrated unsubscribe button on my iPhone.
Love it.
It's just like, I don't know. What do you think is wrong with the model, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back to what you guys were talking about with Facebook, I think the saving grace of Facebook for me was you don't have to unfriend somebody, but you can unfollow them, right? So I don't have to see their negative energy showing up in the feed anymore. When
you can mute them for 30 days.
What's that?
You can mute them for 30 days. That's a handy little button right there.
Gets you through an election cycle.
No, I think with media, I think it was oversaturated with a bunch of they're not real writers. They don't care about the actual content. And I think what you're seeing now is kind of a reboot. And I also think on the reader side, they'll pay for good stuff. And I think more in-depth stories, better. I mean, Google rewards you for that anyway. I mean, the way they SEO your page now. I mean, I think the best is starting to come to the top, and now, kind of like the cable. We dump cable and we're streamers, and man, I'm loving the fact that I think in another year from now we'll be able to a la carte whatever we want. I mean, that's what everybody wants anyway. It's like,
and you get content that you actually care about versus, we have 600 channels. Yeah, 595 I don't care about, right? Yeah. And you're actually making money because those channels are paying you to be carried on this package that I don't want, man. I don't want.
So I think that there's kind of two things that happened that made this winter come for the digital media publishers. I think first of all, they forgot where they came from. Like the reason a Mashable or a BuzzFeed could go, I mean, in Mashable's case, they went super niche. With BuzzFeed, it was kind of general, but it was really all internet pop culture. I mean, the reason that they could exist to begin with as a blog that could have an ad-based business is because the internet broke the kind of attention monopolies of all of the major publishers. You don't have to be New York Times or Wall Street Journal or CNN to get someone's attention. You can actually get a lot of people there. And then somewhere in their business model, they forgot that disintermediation happened, and they all of a sudden want to become a giant publishing company when that never worked. They're the reason the giant publishing companies all went through a similar business cycle about 10, 15 years ago when we all started saying the print cliff is coming. Everybody's going to shut down. You talked about print cliff more than anyone else I know, probably.
I did. We made an ad about print cliff. Do you remember that?
I do.
We had an ad in the Northwest Arkansas Regional Airport about print cliff. It's got to be the most random ad in the world that people knew what it was because they were still buying print.
And so then there's, in addition to that, like arrogance that comes with the idea, well, I can be a giant publishing company because I'm cool BuzzFeed and not stodgy New York Times. And in addition to that, you've got this other problem with, because the business is eyeballs based, and now all of a sudden we're getting 70, 80% of our traffic from Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook changed this algorithm. I can't count on monetization that I can't control. Mm-hmm. And if 80% of my revenue is based off of referrals from another website, and that website decides to change its business model, then I'm in serious trouble.
Yeah.
And that's where most of these people ended up, is now they have to actually pay Facebook to get the same reach, and hopefully they can make some money off of the margin between what they get and what they pay. Or
and if this is the winner, that was the fall.
Right.
I mean, that was the lead into this, as well as, you know, a lot of digital problems are driven by the investments.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
You know, they had to grow like that. They had to expand like that because they got VC money, and those people want their money back. And they take, you know, you see all these companies, they raise, you know, 20, 30, 40, $100 million. I'm like, holy.
For a content company, right? They're a blog.
You're going to have
what
to,
they are.
You're a blog. I love Casey bulls it down, man. It's a blog.
It's a blog.
It's a big blog. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on with it, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, and I think the other thing that happened is exactly what we're doing right now. Man, anybody can throw a mic in front of their face and podcast.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure, you know, the pure podcasters are going to tell me, you know, we're doing it wrong and, you know, all this stuff, but
who cares?
Who cares? I'm not doing this.
I mean, even Mike Tyson has a podcast now. You see that?
That's cool.
It's called Hot Boxing with Mike.
Hot Boxing. Oh, he just had what's her name on it?
Roseanne Barr, and they both got high on camera, talking.
Were they in a legal state?
California, I guess. That's where they all do it, right?
You can get high. I mean, I guess if you're in a legal state, there's nothing says you can't get high while you're doing your. I gotta go watch that. That must be interesting. That's awesome. But that's it. And everybody's like, you know, I was listening to a podcast yesterday talking about, well, you know, these organizations is going to survive because of its podcasting. And I was like, okay. that's a business model I'd want to, you know.
Well, I mean, I think podcasting is on a big upswing, I think.
Sure.
But
when there's 100,000 podcasts produced every day, like
we'll be in the same boat. I actually think there's probably less attention for podcasts to go around than there is for written media. I mean, I think whatever winter comes to podcasting comes sooner than.
Well, this show I listened to yesterday had an interesting perspective that I thought was interesting. I don't know that I agree with it 100%, but it said, look, podcasting is killing like written journalism. I'm like, okay, I guess I could see a little bit of that, maybe.
I can't.
No.
I mean, but so all I can go by is my own podcast habits.
Yeah.
Which is I listen to in the car almost exclusively.
Sure.
Or when I'm mowing the yard, like doing yard work. That's when I listen to podcasts. When I would listen to the radio or music.
Oh, so it's replaced.
It's replacing a different audio medium. That's
the future of podcast, because I sometimes feel guilty now if I'm listening to music, because it seems like
I could be learning more. Yeah.
I could be learning something.
You just waste your time. Gary Vee would tell me my life is over and I'm never going to be successful. I'm sure. You listen to an Eminem song. Wow, what's wrong with you?
You mean you're not grinding 24/7?
Hey, nothing like the Jets, baby. Nothing like the Jets. Jets.
So, what do you think the future holds for these guys? What is the successful media company, content company of the future? What does that look like?
I tell you what.
I mean, someone's going to make. I mean, we can talk about user-generated content and everything, and I know that's replacing a lot. But someone's going to make money. So there are people who are going to make a living at content. What does that look like 5 years from now?
Mike had a good point though. I got to tell you, we watch a bunch of Netflix and a bunch of Amazon Prime because there's stuff on there I actually want to see.
Yep.
Right? Right. We started watching Narcos Mexico last night.
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. And I just finished The Punisher, the second season of The Punisher.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Well, that's a good one too.
But again, does anybody go? I just read BuzzFeed today. Whoa.
So, not
since about 2008 has someone said that.
Not to like keep bringing LeBron back into this, but what he did the year after he won it in Cleveland, they started a podcast called Road Tripping, and it was only about the Cavs, and then they had a media person, a traditional media person that kind of emceed it, and it was amazing. Like they would share stories, in-depth stories. They had, and it was not always LeBron on it. He would kind of come in and he would kind of come and go as he pleased. But when he was on it, he was tell stories that like professional journalists couldn't get out of him. But he's sitting there only sharing it through this medium because he trusted it. And then his company, Uninterrupted, bought Road Tripping. But then when he went to LA, now he's gone to Hollywood, and it's like, wait a minute, you had this awesome media company that's kind of bucking the trends, right, of Uninterrupted by going straight to the source. But now he's doing these shows with ESPN Plus and HBO. It's like, wait a minute, why don't you keep it all on Uninterrupted?
Yeah.
Like, why you guys sell out? So it's kind of, I don't know. I think he should have. I don't know. I just love that whole model of.
I like that too. I think you touched on something that I think is really attractive for people like LeBron is the fact that he could go directly to the people.
And it feels more.
If he talked about whatever he was talking about with a reporter's going to get soundbite clips out of it.
Sure.
Yeah. They're going to like Kanye West him in the White House. They're going to make him look however they want him to look.
Right.
Kanye.
And
Kanye don't care.
They'll get the sound bites, and it's different than the message that he wants to put out there.
Right.
I think that's really important for brands to own our communication, own our message all the way to the end user. All of the publicity and everything is great, but it's important for a brand, for a celebrity. That's the reason Donald Trump goes to Twitter all the time. Because all the crazy that is his tweets would be, it'd be filtered. It'd be filtered in some way by the media. But he can put his stuff out there, and people can make fun of him, or they can retweet him and say he's the best thing ever. And
I think it gives the media more to talk about. Right, got his counterweight AOC on the other side, and she's doing the same thing. I mean, this is going to be
she's fascinating to me. I think that she is, and I'm not commenting on her politics, in pro or against. I think that she's a fascinating politician who is probably the future of. Well, you're looking at the future. That's the future of politics.
It's interesting. I was thinking today about Schultz's. Howard Schultz entry in the race already kind of they got the guy yelling at his like book thing last night, and I'm like, dude, you got to own that. I mean, welcome. Like, this is you're running for president, so this is a show.
Before we wrap this up, the filtering conversation I think is segues into an interesting article that we read. That basically says you can now buy
anyone's attention.
You can buy brainwashing, right?
Ooh.
But you can for $29. Let me find the article.
What's the name of the company?
That's a good question.
Now, is brainwashing the same as influencing, or is that another? That's the next level, isn't it?
Yes. So it's.
This is personalized influencing.
Yeah, there's an article on ABC that's can you brainwash one specific person with targeted Facebook ads? So this startup is out of the UK called The Spinner, and for $29 US, you can brainwash and manipulate your loved ones with targeted ads. And so they have packages.
When you say targeted ads, it's content.
Yeah. So the way it works is you would text a link of something to your loved one.
Puts a cookie on their device.
Right. Puts a cookie on their device so they can retarget ads specifically to them, and to influence them, manipulate, brainwash them, whatever you want to call it. I think they're all true.
To stop smoking.
To stop smoking. Yeah. They have the more sex package, where you can get your significant other to basically be bombarded with articles about how more sex makes you happier, makes you healthier, it's more, better life, lots of sexual imagery, and then hopefully brainwashes them into having sex with you more often. You can, let's see, they have
stop riding a motorcycle,
quit smoking, stop eating meat, stop riding motorcycles, initiating sex. There's
I just want get my my daughter to put her plates in the dishwasher. So I think we were talking about maybe Kim Kardashian,
we can just share some
glorifying
cleaning the kitchen,
kitchen cleaning or something. She doesn't follow Kardashian, but
my favorite one is proposed marriage.
Oh,
so you're waiting on your guy to pop the question. He's moving a little slow, or girl, okay. whichever. You're waiting on someone to pop the question. You can instead of hinting, which gets you nowhere. We've tried that for millennia, but now you can actually brainwash them into believing it's time to get married.
Wow,
this is creepy as heck, and it is fascinating. But it also, it makes you wonder how much you're being manipulated.
But isn't that the goal of marketing? Just at scale.
Yeah, it is. It is at scale, and
won't you be happier if you have a cleaner house because you have a Swiffer?
Yeah, it makes marketer tools available to common people for their own personal gain.
Yeah,
which whatever.
It's possible, right?
$29 is a great.
What do you think, Mike?
Are you gonna try a $29 package, Mike?
Sign me up. Yeah. That is crazy. It's almost like back in the day in high school where you send your friend to, keep talking you up around, whatever girl you want. Right? Oh, no, he's really cool. He's cool. It works.
You got your agent.
Right.
It's like your hype man.
Your hype man. Yep. It's the hype man. Well, that's another fascinating episode of Nobody Cares. I'm sorry, Mike. Did I cut you off? I apologize.
No, I have the article in front of me. I was just they're
you're getting in on it. Hey, if anyone out there wants to try this and be a guinea pig,
or if you have tried it,
we really want to hear. We want to hear how if it worked. Right, like I feel like this would work.
In fact, if you want to try this, the first person that asks on our site, I will send you $29.
There you go,
as an experiment, so you can see if you can get your spouse to stop smoking or eating meat or whatever.
Or that's basically free sex.
Riding a motorcycle,
$29.
$29. Yeah, so we'll include this article, and I wrote a little article yesterday on the digital winter. So maybe include that too.
Yep,
I need readership,
right?
So I can start my fortune.
I know on Pine Forks and Friends, we're going to keep going after more in-depth content with no advertising, no nothing, and hopefully that. There's partners, right?
Actually, want to read about beer?
Yeah,
like beer.
Yeah, food.
So I think that's and we've taken a lot of time today, but that's an interesting conversation for another show, which is so moving away from the model that's in winter. What are monetization strategies? If we say, hey, I don't want to bombard people with ads, can't trust ads, don't want to compromise the integrity of my work for ads, where does one monetize? I think that's interesting.
That's great. Yeah. Future subjects.
All right, Mike, where can people find you? Plug yourself.
Oh, Pine Sports Friends. That's where I'm at.
Awesome. John is at Katahdin on Twitter. You can find us
Medium.
both at Photofy. And I think that wraps up another show.
Awesome.
Thank y'all.
Have a great day,
See you next
everybody.
time.